Archie Talley, Salem College. Archie Talley is one of the most sensational scorers in college basketball history. As a freshman in 1973, Talley averaged 22.8 points per game. As a sophomore, he boosted his average to a West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference leading 29.4 points per game. During his junior season, Talley was the second leading scorer in the country with 34.9 points per game. In 1976, during his senior season, Talley recorded an amazing 4 straight 50-point games in 1 week. After a 25-point outing snapped the streak of 50-point games, Talley finished his career scoring 30 or more points in 12 consecutive games. He connected on 49% of his shots from the field and still holds the NAIA single-season record for shots attempted and shots made. Talley finished the 1976 season as the nation's leading scorer with 40.8 points per game. He also set the NAIA record of 1,347 points scored in a single season. Archie Talley, Salem College, and inductee into the class of 2020 of the Small College Basketball National Hall of Fame.
Great. People always ask me, all those points, Archie, did you ever pass the basketball? I said, well, the last time I passed was in 1968, and that was by accident. I'm just kidding. You know, as a national, I've been a national motivational speaker for 35 years or so, speaking to kids in schools around the country. And you know, there's a lot of things I tell them, but I always tell the kids in the schools, I say, there are some things money can't buy that you already have that makes you rich, like your health, education, your family, and your higher power. My mother and my father. You're talking about some things money can't buy that makes you rich. And my father died when I was in 11th grade. That was 1971 or so. He was a great guy. He just worked himself to death, man. He worked himself to death. He was a chef, not a cook, a chef, one of the best. He worked himself to death. Didn't know anything about sports or basketball. And he only came to one game, one of my high school games. And he didn't know anything about sports. So my father comes in the locker room at halftime. You know, he didn't know. He didn't know. All he knew was, you know, the crowds out there in high school just cheering. You know, high schools are, and they're cheering my name a little bit. And my father was like looking around and said, whoa, wait a minute now. That's my boy. So my father comes in the locker room, the coach is in the locker room giving the halftime speech. Okay, guys, we got to get back on defense. We got no baseline, you know, all of the basketball lingo and intense halftime talking. My father walks right in the locker room, looks at me and says, you okay? You all right? You cool? And he didn't want to know if I was all right. He wanted everyone to know, that's my boy. That's my son. That was one of the most proudest days of my life. Other kids would have been embarrassed. I was proud. My father was like, I'm named Archie Talley Jr. My father was Archie Talley Sr. And he didn't know what he was doing, but I said, oh, Dad, hey, my man, you my man, you know. That's my man right there. You okay? You all right? You know. And my mother is so great, man. My mother, she died in 2005, but she lived a long time. She got to see me play in college and things like that. But my mother loved all her kids. She loved all her kids, man. 3 sisters, Natalie, Bernadette, Audrey, and my brother Eric. My brother Eric's deceased, and one of my sisters, Bernadette's deceased, but my mother loved all our kids. And my mother, you talking about proud of her son, proud of all her kids, but proud of me. My mother used to show people my articles and my trophies. And you know, when you get older, you look for that stuff to save it. I said, where in the world are my trophies? My mother used to give them to people. I mean, I was proud. You know, you can't get mad because Mom didn't know. Mom said, well, hey, this is my son right here. Check this out. Check this trophy out. Check this article out. This is my boy. That's my son. I said, Mom, it's great to show them my articles and trophies, but give them a copy. Don't give them the originals. You know, I was so proud of moms for being so proud of her kids, all of her kids, again, but so proud of me, and that was another proud moment of my life. And you talking about some things money can't buy that makes you rich? Washington, D.C. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I didn't have an opportunity to go to basketball camps and clinics and all these things that kids have now, instructional camps and skills camps. I learned on the playground. We came to Washington, D.C., it's just like any other big city, like New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit. You have great players everywhere, hundreds of playgrounds there. But the top 20 playgrounds, you have neighborhood playgrounds. And our playground, Watts Playground, W-A-T-T-S, Watts. Woo! Wow, I played against great players every day, all day. Played against and with great players. That's where I learned how to play. I didn't learn how to play organized ball, fundamentals and all that until I got in 7th grade. Because again, remember, I couldn't go to a camp. I didn't have money. So I learned technically, so I never learned how to shoot, dribble. I learned that on my own. I guess that was a gift, to learn how to shoot, dribble, and pass, even though I didn't pass that much, but I learned how to pass. But yes, Washington, D.C., one of the greatest places. I always mention my hometown, Washington, D.C. And I want to tell you this story. I have a billion stories, but I'm only going to tell you one. How I got to college. I got to Salem College, West Virginia, by accident. Salem College, West Virginia, my coach, Don Christie, was like a father to me. Great, great man. He passed a few years ago. Great, great guy. Make a long story short, I'm in Washington, D.C., and there's a hotbed of basketball, right, in Washington, D.C., high school basketball. We played a high school team, a rival team, that was very good. And we beat them in triple overtime. And they had a big 6'9" player that was a great player. He was the Division I player. He wasn't going to small college, but the assistant coach was an alumnus of Salem College. His name was Jerry Keith. He was an alumnus of Salem College, so he called Salem College Coach Don Christie and said, Coach, my big 6'9" player is probably Division I, but you may be able to talk him into coming to a Division II college if I can get him down there, and I think he's willing to visit. So the big 6'9" player was set up for a visit on Saturday. And he said, okay, you got him lined up to come down? He said, you got him lined up to come down on Saturday. But it's this other player on the other team that can play too, Coach. Can I bring him also with the big 6'9" guy? Coach at Salem said, hey, you could bring anybody else you want to bring, as long as you bring that big 6'9" King Kong rebounder. Who cares who you bring? What's the other guy's name anyway? Archie, Talley, Bally, Wally, put him in the trunk, tie him on the tailpipe, who cares? Bring that big 6'9" guy. As long as you bring him, I don't care. Make a long story short, I showed up Saturday. The big 6'9" guy got sick. And there were no cell phones in those days, so Coach did not know. It was a 9-hour drive, and he's expecting this big 6'9" guy. They roll out the red carpet at a small college. It was a big thing just for a Division I big 6'9" guy to even visit. And they were rolling out the red carpet, not knowing that he got sick, right, until we got there. We got there, and he forgot about me. We got there, and I jump out of the car, and I'm a little guy, right? They expected this big 6'9" guy to tear out of the car like a can opener or something, you know, roar out of the car, ready to rebound as soon as you get out of the car, right? Just ready to rebound, growling, right? I come out, I get out of the car and say, hi, Coach. He said, who's that? That's Archie Talley. Remember him? Oh, my gracious. Where's the big 6'9" guy? He got sick, Coach. We got to, line him up for next week or something. So at least the coach said, okay, son, Talley, Archie Talley, let me see what you can do. So I get out there playing with his varsity. Head coach is not even watching me play. The assistant coach is watching me. Head coach is still talking to the assistant coach on how to get the 6'9" guy down there the next week. He's not even watching me. But the assistant coach at Salem College is watching me play. And he stopped and he said, Coach, we can talk about that 6'9" guy a little later. I think you should turn around and watch this kid Talley play. He turned around and watched me play for about 20 minutes. Now remember, 20 minutes only let you play 15, 20 minutes, and we drove 9 hours. I said, oh, my gracious, this guy's not going to sign me anything. And he looked at me, and he motioned me to the side to come to him. And I was only 18 years old. I was a kid. I was a poor kid, man. I couldn't afford a penny to go to school. So I'm sitting there and saying, oh, my gracious. So I remember this like it was yesterday. That was 45 years or so ago. And he looked at me and said something that changed my life. He said, son, we want you. We really want you. I jumped up and down in one spot. Like, I'm serious. I was just like, he was trying to calm me down. I was like, he said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he was trying to tell me about the grants he can offer me. I can give you BEOG grants, EO, whatever. And I didn't know what the grants meant. I said, Coach, I have one question to ask you. And the answer to this question is going to determine whether or not I come to your college. He said, what's that, Archie? What question is that? I said, do I have to pay anything to go to college for 4 years? He said, you do not have to pay one penny. I said, I'll sign. He said, no, 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 we don't do it like that. We do it the right way. You go home and you talk it over with your mother. I said, she'll sign too. You need anybody else to sign? My mother killed me if I didn't sign that thing, man. I signed, and I found out later when I was an adult that Coach said, Archie, I really didn't think you were going to show up because I knew a Division I school made a big mistake. And I knew they were going to correct their mistake before, school started in August. And I never thought you would come. But he didn't know me. I'm loyal, period. I told you some things money can't buy. I'm loyal. I showed up on campus with 2 steamer trunks. A white suit, a white derby, a white shirt, red tie, and red shoes in an all-white town. They said, well, we got a pimp on campus or something? What's going on in here? Jeez, oh, Christmas. I was so happy to be in school. Make a long story short, had a great academic year as a freshman, and I made one of the All-American teams as a freshman also. So great academic year, great athletic year. And I was asked, and schools were inquiring about me to transfer. Quite a few Division I schools. I remember Memphis State. They played for the national championship that year, 72, 73. They played UCLA, and they had a great player on the team. I think his name was Larry Finch, great player. And he was graduating. And they called my school. Now, they did not talk to me. They didn't talk to me. They talked to some official from their school called my school, and I'm in a small college. When a rumor goes around, everybody believes the rumor. Everybody on campus thought I was transferring. Everybody knew I was transferring, but me. I'm walking up campus, and I'm in a small college. Everybody speaks to everyone and all that kind of stuff, and that was unique because I'm from D.C. People don't speak, man, So I'm walking up campus, and everybody said, Archie, woo, we wish the best for you, man. And I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? What you talking about? What happened? And I go to the coach's office. I'll never forget this. Go to the coach's office, Coach Don Christie. I keep saying his name. That's my man. I go to Coach Don Christie's office. I used to go every day just to say hi before class. And I go to his office. Coach Christie closes the door. And I'm like, wow, what's wrong, man? Did my mother pass or something? I mean, I didn't know. Because I didn't remember. He heard the rumor like everyone else, so he thinks I'm transferring. I don't know what's going on. So I said, wow, what's going on? Coach closed the door. He said, sit down, Archie. I said, wow, what's wrong, Coach? What's going on? He said, Archie, before you came here, I promised your mother. And before he said, Archie, before you came here, I had a long conversation with your mother. And I promised your mother that I would make sure that you take the right classes to help you in life to graduate. Let me say that again. Take the right classes to help you in life to graduate, not take these little basket weaving classes, doorknob polishing 1 and 2, these empty classes like some people take. And I didn't take rocket science classes, but I took pretty good classes. I majored in human relations, dealing with people, with an emphasis on kids, on children, which was great. I mean, I didn't know, but he said, I'm going to make sure of that. And I'm going to make sure, Archie, I promised your mother, that's what he said, I promised your mother that I was going to make sure you learn how to drive a car. Because, see, I couldn't drive a car when I was in college, my freshman year, because I would not take driver's ed in high school. Because you either played basketball in gym class or you took driver's ed. And you know what I did? I played basketball. I never took driver's ed. And he's going on and on telling me all these things that he promised my mother in that private conversation that he would do for her son. And I said, Coach, excuse me, but I have no idea where this conversation is going. Where's this coming from? He said, Archie, I heard you were transferring to Memphis State. That's when I almost teared up, and I said, Coach, I don't know where that rumor came from, but it's false. I said, let me tell you something, Coach. I could always play. You are the only one to believe in me and give me an opportunity, a chance. You were the first one and the only one. Now, all of a sudden, everyone else wants me now. But I'm the same player I was 3 or 4 months ago in high school now. But all of a sudden, they want me? I said, Coach, let me tell you something. You were the only one to believe in me. I'm staying here. And if I had to do it again, I'll do the exact same thing. Salem College, West Virginia. We were like a family, man. Small colleges, I don't have to tell you, small colleges like a family. We have to struggle for everything, man. And I love small colleges. Everything we get, we appreciate. When you get a new building or something, you have to raise money. It's not like the big schools that somebody come in and give you $10 billion or whatever it is. You have to raise money, man. But we're the underdogs. And I remember my friend Earl the Pearl Monroe, I watched his video, and he said, you know, out of all the Hall of Fames I'm in, and this is one of the greatest players ever, he said, this is the most special one. That's what Earl the Pearl said. Watch his video, I think 2 years ago. And I said, you know, Earl, wow, man. The same thing with me. I'm in a few Hall of Fames, the State Hall of Fame in West Virginia and a College Hall of Fame, but this is one. I told John the other day, I said, John, I think the Naismith Hall of Fame is great, but this rivals it. This Hall of Fame is run first class. It's one of the best I've ever seen with John McCarthy, with Mary Supple, with the best voice I've ever heard. And Dan, the voice, man, I heard him before I got here. I said, wow, he makes you sound like you win an Academy Award, and the winner is, you know? Great, doesn't he have a great voice? I said, woo, I can't wait to get up here. Don't want to leave now. I should have stayed to watch the kids play, you know, but I'm telling you, but it's great. And again, there's some things money can't buy that makes you rich. I have to remind adults more than I do kids. When I speak to adults, it's a different talk, but that's what I do. I said, we better stop complaining all the time about everything. You're in a line at Walmart and you complain about the line too long. Well, there's some people that's blind. They can't be in the line. I mean, you know, they can't see. They can't. You talking about you have problems? So I have to remind you, there's some things money can't buy that makes you rich. And please, I always tell kids, please value the things that you already have that makes you rich. And please listen to this poem before I walk away. To have your name inscribed up there is greater yet by far than all the halls of fame down here and every man-made star. This crowd on earth, they soon forget the heroes of the past, or they cheer like mad until you fall, and that's how long you last. I tell you, friend, I would not trade my name, however small, if written there beyond the stars in that celestial hall, for any famous name on earth or glory that they share. I'd rather be an unknown here and have my name up there. I love you all. Take care of yourself.